coming. Custom stream service. Done. Redirecting. Okay. I don't know if we are.
It's saying live on mine, man.
Yeah, I see it too.
You stay live on that end?
Yeah, it's live.
All right, I'm trying to make sure. Let me check this dashboard. Okay, it's coming up right now. I don't know if I should mute this or unmute that. Can y'all hear me?
Yep.
Oh yeah, straight.
Is it an echo? I don't know if it's an echo.
No.
Nah, I ain't got no echo.
No echo.
No,
all
you
right.
good.
Let me see. This says chat right here. Testing anybody out. I don't know if this works or not. Did y'all get any chats? Everything straight?
Yeah, I don't see anything popped
Nah, I
up.
don't see it.
Yeah.
All right, bad. Look, dig. We're gonna get it popping. All right. So
All
I don't
right.
know if this is a delay or if we live or not. I guess it says live. I don't know. Let me check Facebook and see. I want to check Facebook and YouTube real quick. All right, Facebook said we live.
All right.
Let me check YouTube real quick. Just to make sure. I should have had all this set up, man. Look, like I said, I don't have no producer or nothing. I'm just doing this on the fly. No clue. No clue how to do this.
You're doing good. You're doing good, bro.
All right. Everybody started somewhere, man, with something.
Right.
That's true. Facts. Facts. Yeah, for sure. All right,
seen
boom. Let's say
worse
we
goals,
live.
by the way.
Still building podcast. All right, dig. Okay.
There go my phone. Let me step away. Keep building. Keep going.
All right.
What's up, Sam? What's up, bro?
Let me see. Live streams, meetings being live stream. Okay, got it. Okay, cool. All right, yeah. All right, we was waiting on Kid to get back. You know, hopefully Brian can jump on. You know what I'm saying? And we live. Let me make sure I got everything on the settings and stuff like that.
Proper and
Okay,
one
we're good.
fiber.
Word up. Yeah, we're gonna get it together.
Want to make a what?
I said, so you want to trade?
I don't
Yeah.
want to trade.
Yeah, we want to trade. That's what we want. We want to trade. and we want to return on that investment too. That's what we want.
I'm trying to
Big return.
mute myself.
We want to return on that investment.
Aye.
All right, so we'll wait with Kid get back. And we'll pop off.
I'm sorry, fellas. Let me. I'm trying to mute
All right.
myself so you guys can go on without.
Yeah, you know, it's the old school, man. You know what I'm saying? Ain't nothing like the old school. We're going to get it together, you dig? But this is how we make it pop and make it happen. But like I said, we're going to get this thing popping. Once Kid get back, we'll get it, y'all. But this is episode 1, season 1. It's the year 2023. We made it. You know, thankfully, thank God that we made it on this side. You know what I'm saying? We can go ahead and be able to be blessed enough to be able to communicate and talk to the people. You know, so this is our podcast that we starting this year. Still building podcasts. You need
installs, right?
still building podcasts. I got my man Jacko.
The two behind you.
In the house.
No, I was going to say,
Kid Jones. You did.
I'm still waiting for that.
Waiting on Brian B. I think he's still. Let me see if I can mute him. I don't know if I can mute
I'm
him.
going to ask you if
Hold
you
on a
want to
second.
pay for that Ladera Heights one. I'll take the
I don't want all this business on the street.
Ultra's Ladera?
Hold on a second. Can I mute his mic?
Ladera, you know, but I'll
Yeah, see if you can mute me, Sean, because
Yeah, I'm trying. Hold on a second.
I'll throw my hands up or something when I'm ready to talk again.
All right. Can I mute all mics? I'm gonna figure this out.
Let me see.
Go on here and yapping.
Test speakers and microphones.
I can mute it, Sean. Let me mute.
You can mute on your end?
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
you
don't
should.
hear me now, do you?
Yeah. I can still hear you.
Oh, damn, shit. I thought I had it. Hold on. Because it let me mute. Bear with me, Sam. Bear with me.
Yeah, I didn't want your whole convo to be on the on the
Right.
line.
I know. They're going, what are they talking about?
Like, wait a minute. Trade secrets and
Inglewood.
everything.
Yeah, I don't know nothing about no Inglewoods.
Right.
Let me see. Click here, hit more.
Speakers, test speaker, microphone.
Disconnect audio. Let me turn my.
You got a little microphone icon. There you go. Yeah, you good. You good. All right, you good.
All right. So yeah.
All right.
We're gonna figure
All
all
right, yeah,
this stuff
so-
out of the while, man. We're gonna become proficient.
Right. We're gonna get it together eventually, man. We're gonna get it together eventually. You know, like I said, this is the first time we live. And I know people
Absolutely.
probably think it's crazy, but it's all good. We're gonna get better as we go. You know
Oh,
what I'm
yeah.
saying? All this technology, I don't know about all this technology, man. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just trying to figure it out, you know, so we can use it for the benefit of the people, you know, for the next generation. So like I said, still building podcasts, episode 1. You know what I'm saying? It's your man Marifa coming to you live right now with the podcast. Got the 4 horsemen, supposed to be 4. We missing 1 horseman. Supposed to be 4. Jack Kid Jones, B Will. Hopefully he'll get on, you know what I'm saying, to jump on with us. But the original 4 horsemen, man, you know what I'm saying, coming live from you know what I'm saying, from Germany to give you some knowledge and wisdom. You know, so we all, like I said, come from different faiths, backgrounds, beliefs, but we all coming together under that one commonality as Black men, you know what I'm saying, to be able to come together and drop some knowledge to the youth and be able to give y'all some wisdom and understanding from what our life experiences are about. So it's a very good podcast. I think it'll be going to be great for us to have conversations about various topics, dialogues and stuff like that, giving us abilities and opportunities to be able to, you know, express ourselves, talk about things and get things out there, give you some advice, give you some knowledge, give you some business advice, give you some relationship advice, give you all type of advice. You know what I'm saying? All type of different topics we go touch on about life. You know what I'm saying? About life. You know, so we got to get this information out. You know, people, they say the game should be told, the game should be sold, not told. But I say, nah, tell it. You know what I'm saying? Because you're going to die anyway. You know what I'm saying? So why you going to die with the knowledge and information and send it to the grave and let somebody else figure it out? Nah, we need to pass this information down while we can, while we got a chance.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? So that's what we're here to do. Still building podcasts. So with that being said, that's the introduction. Yeah, we here to chop and build it up. We're going to get better. We're going to have a little intro song and all that stuff like that.
Yeah.
We'll get better.
We're coming with it.
We'll get better. So when Kit get back, we're gonna go ahead and do the you know, the intro on how we met each other and stuff like that, and the history of how we started out, how we met, and then, you know, what our journeys has been like, you know, growing from that experience when we first initially met to where we are now and what we doing today. You know what I'm saying? Not unless you want to just go ahead and start that off, Jack.
Okay.
What you want to do?
So no doubt, man. Look, you know, of course we all got to Germany, man, around the same time. Well, yeah, you know, so Kit was already there, man. And me and Kit became roommates. You know, I thought I was getting my own room. Boy, look, I was about to be a happy man. You know what I'm saying? I was like, yo.
No, they ain't doing none of that.
Up in this joint every night. You know what I'm saying? So then, man, they had me in there with a Corporal Jones, man. I saw a Corporal Jones.
Who is that?
I'm like, no, man, no. Look, this is supposed to be me. Yep. But so, yo,
Jones, who is that?
man. Huh? Kids show up, you know what I'm saying? We bond, everything, man. We done built us a good relationship, you know. And we just started looking around, man. You know what I'm saying? We sit down, chop it up, man. We, you know, doing everything together, man. Brothers, you know what I'm saying?
I see, this is before I got there. This is before I got there, right? Before I got there. Yeah.
Like almost instantly, man. You know what I'm saying? So he's introducing me to a whole bunch of new stuff, man, because he knew his way around and all of that. You know what I'm saying? And
Oh yeah.
like I said, I had been there for a little while, man. Had a couple of roommates, and I was ready to be in a room with at least one other person because I think I had like 3 roommates, man. Like, look,
3. God.
yep, hey, bro, it was tight. Look, there wasn't no breathing room.
Oh, you know what I forgot to do? All right, here we go. Let me go back to here. But for those who don't know, we're talking about when we were in the Army together. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So these are my brothers from the Army. So
378 PSC.
yeah. These are my brothers from the Army. So we go all the way back to 1992. You know what I'm saying? You dig? 1992. I mean, almost 30. That was 30 some years. Is that 30?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Y'all
30.
sitting on 31, I think.
Yeah. So now, back then we was wild, young, dumb. But now we the OGs, you know what I'm saying? OGs, triple OGs.
But so man, me and Kit used to sit in the room, man. You know what I'm saying? We build a little bit, man. And started looking around, man, and I was a little bit older than just about everybody else at the time, man, because I had joined Army when I was 21. I didn't join until I was 21. So yeah. So I think I might have been like 23, 24, you know what I'm saying? And Kit right up under me. And it didn't seem at that particular time, man, like the NCO was trying to give us any knowledge of whatever, right? So,
right.
And of course, man, you had your brothers, man, over there who were Masons and so on and so forth.
Right.
Me and Kit used to study our Black history on our own and stuff, man. And we was like, yo, man, let's incorporate these younger brothers, you know what I'm saying? Let's get Sean, let's get Batiste, let's get Oliver, you know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
Jay. Yeah, we was trying to get all y'all in, man. So you know what I'm saying?
That's what we needed right there, man. Look, y'all took me under y'all wing, man. I was a young Jedi coming up. You know what I'm saying? So y'all took me under y'all wing, man. That was like the best thing because I was ready. You know what I'm saying? I was like ready to soak up any knowledge I could find. You know what I'm saying? I was just hungry. I was hungry, boy. Ready to soak up some knowledge.
And that's what it was all about. Cause okay, so y'all heard the song, man. Y'all familiar with it, of course, but we'll put it out there one day for the masses to get, man. But Standing on the Rock, you know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah. I remember that.
You know what I'm saying? Because it seemed like the brothers who were Masons, right? You know what I'm saying? That were a little bit older than us. They didn't want to share the knowledge, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, that's why I said in that song, speak out freely, forget about secrecy, share the truth with all who are seeking, G. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like,
and see, that's what I'm saying.
We trying to build things up, man. You know what I'm saying? We trying to have our own safe space, as they call it now. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
A place where, hey, Black men can be Black men. We can grow. We can do whatever we need to do to accomplish what we're trying to accomplish, man. Not just for our people, but for all people.
That's right.
Yeah. But yeah, man, I appreciate it, man, that y'all took me under the wing, you know what I'm saying, and brought me up as a young puck. I think I was like 18, fresh out of high school, you know what I'm saying? I have been to Chicago, I'm from Chicago, man, so it's kind of like I've been in the Chicago streets just wilding, you know what I'm saying? I was just ready to change and go in a new direction, man, with my life, man. I was just like, I was sick of them streets, sick of all that, you know what I'm saying, all of that goofy stuff I was doing out there in the streets, just kicking it, wilding. I was like, man, I need something different. You know what I'm saying? And y'all brothers came with the maturity, the knowledge, you know what I'm saying, the wisdom. And I was like, yo, this is what I'm looking for. You know what I'm saying? This is what I need. Y'all put me in the right path. Y'all was like, nah, man, you need to go this way. I was like, okay, bet. All right, bet. For sure. Straight up, man. So that's what you need. You know what I'm saying? So that's what still building is about. You know what I'm saying? We was building back then. And we still building right now today. You did still building right now today. So that's what still building. But they say iron sharpens iron. Well, the brothers are here, you know what I'm saying? We're gonna sharpen this steel up, you know what I'm saying, to be able to talk about, different topics and different various topics and be able to get some insight and knowledge on it. Anything that's happening in the world and community, relationships, religions, spiritualities, whatever. You know what I'm saying? We're here to just chop it up and build. So we're going to be coming at y'all still building, You know what I'm saying? At least what? Every 2 weeks? How y'all want to do it?
Hey, we
Yeah,
gonna
every couple weeks.
Every 2 weeks we can rock. Okay.
Yeah, we'll talk about that often.
Yeah. We'll do that
Yeah.
off there.
Because I know,
Right.
ultimately the goal is to have enough cast accumulated so those who are missing can always go back and look up subjects and topics and dig into it. So, I just think it's a beautiful thing. It's definitely timely. I don't know where you guys were in the conversation when I jumped back in, but I heard Jack saying, how how old he was when he joined the military, and then when you guys started coming in, how we were pulling you guys in. I remember the Saturdays cutting hair in our room, and
man.
Jack,
Oh yeah.
Jack, I know you remember this. We had a third roommate one time, and they stuck this white kid in there, and
yeah.
Y'all had three? Y'all had three?
Yeah.
It was three
yeah.
at one time. Yeah,
I remember that.
White guy and
cool dude, man.
Out and going out to clan meetings and shit, and bro, this is some real shit though, right? So I don't know where I was.
You lied.
I don't know where I was, but I came back to the room where we were normally. It was a Saturday, I'm about to cut somebody hair, right? And there was a brother Chris there, and he had dude by his neck up against the wall, right?
You lied.
He was like, "I don't play that shit, man. I don't play that shit." Right?
Right.
I'm like, what the fuck going on, right? What's happening? He was like, "Man, this dude talking about he joined in the clan," and I'm like, "Oh, whoa. So when we, I break up the little potential fight, and I asked, "Dude, what's going on?" And he said, "Well, and y'all gonna laugh, but he said, Pat told me if it's more than two of them in the room, they having a Black Panther meeting. So, but it's funny. It's funny because I was like, no, that's not what's happening. We in here building, brothers, we building and destroying, right? We're tearing down old concepts and building new concepts on top of that. And, I had to talk to this dude, and I remember he was into the rodeo because I didn't even know they had a rodeo in Germany, right?
Right.
He was like a bull rider or some shit, So this honky, white dude going out here riding bulls on the weekend. And, once and it's kind of always been this thing with myself, is like finding that commonality with people. Once you can find, you ride horses? Oh, cool, man. My dad and them grew up in East Texas, and my father came from a family that bred horses and they used to break horses and stuff like that. So once we find a commonality, once we find that commonality with a person, then we can kind of, find something, okay, now we can deal on this topic. So they don't always feel as excluded, right? And then once you saw, hey, yeah, I got Black Panther sitting in the room. I got all the books you want to read, right? But when they came on my side, they seen that Public Enemy flag, they seen all the shit up there. Mother was like, "Oh no, I don't know where I went, but I'm in the wrong place."
Right?
Hey man, listen.
Man, them good old days, man.
Hey, when I first got there, I was like, "Yo, I didn't know what to think." This is my first time out of country, right? So I'm like, going into Germany, I'm like, hey, I wasn't scared of nothing, I'm saying? I was 18 years old, just brave as hell, I'm saying? I ain't care. I'm like, I'm survived Chicago. I can go anywhere in the world. I don't give a damn. I ain't scared of that. So I go in that mug and the kid is bumping this Tribe Called Quest. First thing in the morning, bro. It's like old Doc 30. All I hear is boom, 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 boom. I was like, what is this? Microphone check 1, 2. What is this, man? Oh, man. Every morning. I used to love that shit. I love that shit. And I had to go hit him, man. I say, man, what is you bumping, bro? What is you bumping? Say, that Tribe, baby. That Tribe. Like,
It was the music, man. Look, man, we go downtown, man. He come in like, yo, Jack, check this out, man. I just got this. He hit that Arrested Development, man. When he picked that Arrested Development up.
Oh, bro.
No. And I'm gonna tell you, brother, you know who was a big influence on me is David Cook.
Cook, yeah, man. We're gonna get him on the show. We're gonna get Cook on the show.
Man, that brother used to be so hype. He'd be like, yo, kid, You hear that new Public Enemy? Oh, you hear that new LL Cool J? Mama said not.
See, Cook was hipping you up, and you was hipping us to game.
I didn't even want to hear it. I didn't even want to. I just went right to the PX and bought it, man. Like, I don't even need to hear it. Right. If Dave said it was good with me, right?
Yeah.
And I'm gonna tell you guys, and this is, just something when you reflect upon your own life. I've always thought in kind of like musical terms, right? Yeah. Where someone will say something and maybe a part of their sentence is also a lyric from a song. Right. And it'll come to mind like, oh yeah, that's like this, right? Yeah. And so when I got there, just real quick, I'm like you, Sean, right? I went from high school right into the U.S. Army, basic training, Fort Jackson, AIT, Fort Jackson, went to airborne school down at Fort Benning, Georgia. Yeah. We're going to go to Ranger School and, due to peer influence, I listened to one of my peers that I have been in training with since basic training, and he was like, yo, it's Christmas time. Don't you want to go home? And I'm like, dude, I don't celebrate Christmas, so I'm not missing nothing, right? But then, remember in basic training, one of the first concepts you learned was the buddy concept, right? Yeah. And we were doing the buddy ready, buddy moving. You didn't go nowhere without your buddy, right? We don't leave none behind, all of that stuff. So I was always into like teaming, right? And had some racist shit happen when I was in basic training, white dude calling people nigger, and out of all the people there, they come and get me. Yo, Jones.
They come and get you. Wait, be the representative. Wait.
We need a black representative. We're gonna get this Negro over here. He's articulate enough, and he has a demeanor not to chop somebody's head off first. He might talk to him, so they come get me, and we went through this rigmarole, which one day I'll share that too. What I did, which was basically go get the dictionary. Let's sit down and define the term, right? Find a commonality, and at the end, I had him admit that he was the nigger, right? So it was cool. You know what I'm saying? There ain't no niggas here except for you. You're the only one ignorant of the subject and using the topic, a pronoun. Right. You're not using it right, nigga. Right.
So, he finally. See, and that's the thing right there, bro. See, because a lot of people with the ignorance, you get a lot of people who are ignorant about certain things. They don't research and study. They don't take the time necessary to find out. They just take whatever they've heard or whatever, rumor or whatever has been put out, by their family members or friends or in passing. They don't take the necessary time to actually study and read up and educate themselves. You know what I'm saying? Because if they did, a lot of this stuff just be eliminated. A lot of this foolishness we deal with, like straight up.
It would. And that's on every side, man. You know what I'm saying? That's on every side. I think what the problem is, again, like you just said, is that nobody really takes time to research and figure out where everything began and originated and all that stuff.
That's right.
Find out the fact that, hey, we are all one. We started out as one. You know what I'm saying?
Right. That's right.
We were separated. You know? And that's the whole plot and plan. If you separate, you can defeat. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
And I'm working on a book, man. I'm gonna get it out one of these days. I don't know how soon, but it's called Steal, Kill, and Destroy. You know what I'm saying?
All right.
Yeah.
That's what's up.
And it'll probably have some interesting topics, parts of my life in it, man. Where I saw my plan, my goals and everything, you know what I'm saying? How the devil, the enemy, man, was just constantly, you know what I'm saying, coming at me, you know what I'm saying? Either I'm gonna steal it, I'm gonna kill you, or I'm gonna destroy everything about you. I'm gonna destroy your credibility, I'm gonna destroy your name, all of that stuff, man. Steal, kill, and destroy. But while I got your attention, bro, let me give a shout out, man, to my man. Sean, I gotta give you your flowers, boy. You know what I'm saying? Because not only did you get what we were putting down, you picked it up and you ran with it, bro.
Yes, sir.
And you know what I'm saying? Man. Look where you're at now, bro. I'm proud of you, man. Not only that, you came looking for me, man, when it seemed like nobody cared.
Yeah, man.
Like,
I appreciate it, man. Appreciate it. I just try to do the best I can, bro. Just the best that I can, man. I ain't perfect by no means. Trust me, I made a lot of mistakes, bro. A lot of mistakes.
don't want to, you know, no homo this shit, but I'm gonna toot your horn too, you know, because when we had when shit, bro, it's been 20 years when we had that our little mock reunion in Atlanta back in 2003. Or was that
was that
04?
03 or
04?
05?
04.
04. Yeah, because Kanye West just came out and Jay had played the track. I ain't never heard Kanye.
Yeah.
Jay
And I
heard the
remember,
track.
yeah, you heard of Yeezy, and I didn't like that fool
Yeah,
then.
I know. Yeah,
anyway.
Jay dropped it. I was like, what? What is this? He said, yeah, he from Chicago. I said, you lying.
Yeah. Hey, but Mita, when we had that, man, I remember then you were in school, right, to become a minister. Yep. And yep. I was so proud of you because I said, damn, my little brother is still just like me, right? Because I had done the same thing. So when I got out of the military, I got out in 92, I came back to LA post the Rodney King insurrection, right? I can tell you notably some things that I noticed change back then is the vibration changed universally because consciousness was taken out of hip hop that same summer, right?
Yeah.
The Chronic album dropped. Everybody was getting inebriated on the weed, you know. I've been a lifetime chiefer, so I've been smoking weed since I was 12, you know. And I'm 50, I'll be 53 this year.
Word up.
And but anywho, during that time, I continued with the spiritual search, right? And I ran into some little paramilitary groups. I was a Hebrew Israelite back then. And you know, for anybody out there that's watching, I definitely welcome all questions because there is a Hebrew Israelite detox that I'm working on to get you off of the BS, right? I'll just say in that aspect, learn the language, right? When you learn the language, you can't be confounded. And the first people who ever left Hebrew Israelite organizations were always those that learned the language. Once you learn the language, you can have someone tell you, well, this is what it means, brother, when you're reading it and you're going, no, that's not what it means, right? And I was involved with the organization for about 10 years before I finally had to step away myself. But in that time, like yourself, I went and, you know, got my pastoral credentials, and I used to work in the California penal system with the youth, right? So I was under the chaplain at Los Padrinos and East Lake juvenile detention centers here in Los Angeles, and spent a lot of time going in there and building with the young men and women. And instantly, I mean, from my first day there, I realized, oh, we have an issue because going in there as a religious organization, but not having the same message as the other Christians there, it became controversial from the beginning. And unfortunately, my organization, it was nice because the chaplain liked us, you know, so, oh, we got a bunch of men coming here, you know, and there was a woman chaplain at the time, but she enjoyed the fact that it was a bunch of young men coming, building these relationships with the youth there. So what they did is they just had us come on Fridays instead of Sundays. And that's when we got to spend a little bit more one-on-one time with the youth and build with them and answer a lot of the questions that definitely were not going to be answered. But anyway, speeding things up, when I ran into you again back in 2004, you know, all I could do was smile because I'm like, damn, you know, look, my brother's, you know, doing the same thing. And I remember then telling you, look, bro, just keep, it's something that Smitty told me, right? That
Smitty, boy, that was what.
You know how people drop jewels on you, right? People drop jewels.
Dropping them too.
Smitty first started bringing me Israelite stuff, right? Because his sister was involved with either Ben Ami or Yahweh Ben Yahweh. But Smitty started bringing me information, and something Smitty said to me that just always stuck with me. He said, you know, make sure you learn the history of something before you just jump in, you know, before you just go balls deep in it. Learn the history of the organization, right? So from that time, and like that was probably 91 or so, going into 90. So I'm gonna have to go offline again. A second. I will be back. Let me mute myself so you gentlemen can continue.
No problem.
All right, we got you.
So yo, let me pick up, man, from where Kit left off, right? And go back. Before I ever joined the military, man, you know what I'm saying? I'm a good old country boy from Alabama, man. Like, had a wild cousin from New York come down, man. We getting into all kinds of craziness and stuff, man. But So I was probably about 15 years old, man. And you know, I had this little girlfriend, man, and she had choir rehearsal, right?
Yeah, what?
And choir rehearsal. So we
Okay,
went over to
your microphone is covered up, Jack.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I can hear you now. I can hear you now. Go ahead.
All right, good deal. I'm sorry. So yeah, man, I had a little girlfriend, man. I was about 15, you know what I'm saying? She had choir rehearsal. So we went over to her church, man. So she could do choir rehearsal, right? But they were having a meeting in the church. And so we sat outside. We were sitting on the steps at the church, man. And she had sit on like top step and I was sitting down below her. And I was leaning back in the legs, man, with my arms on the legs. Lady come out the church. She said, boy, get from between that girl legs like that. You know better than that. You know what I'm saying?
About to get a whooping.
Then she looked at me. She said, you know what? Boy, you gonna join the army and you gonna preach in Mississippi. And I'm thinking to myself, lady, you done lost your mind. I ain't joining nobody army and I ain't preaching nothing nowhere. You know what I'm saying?
Spoke that into existence, bro.
Yeah.
She spoke
bro,
that right
look,
into existence.
No doubt. You know what I'm saying? Because even after I joined the army, right, I still had no plans of touching Mississippi.
Yeah.
Messed around and met a girl from Mississippi, got married. She ran off and left, came to Mississippi. I ran off behind her. You can't leave me. I love you.
Right.
but I got here to Mississippi, man. She moved to Georgia. I accepted my calling. You know what I'm saying? And it's been on since then, you know. So
yes,
that's
indeed.
how that's the whole story went down, man. You know what I'm saying? To take me from Jackson, Alabama to Jackson, Mississippi, you know. But I also had a best friend at the time, man, who convinced me to join the army. He was like, yo, man, let's join the army. I was like, man, I ain't joining the army. He said, well, just go to the MEP station with me. I said, okay. So I went to the MEP station, man, took the test, you know, because Sergeant was there, Sergeant Parker said, yeah, go ahead and take the test, man. Score real high on it, right? He was like, yo, you need to do this. And my boy was like, yeah, man, we go in under the buddy system. That didn't work out. Right. We tried it. We tried it. Right. Yo, he left, man, about 4 months before I did. Next time I saw him, he had already got kicked out.
Oh man,
listen, that sounds like my situation, how I got in, man. My homeboy Julius, you know what I'm saying? He was the one with the dream, you know, to go into the army. I never had any thoughts about it. My only thought was the next party that was gonna happen. You know what I'm saying? I was concerned about kicking it with, you know, friends and going to the next party, you know, getting drunk and all of that stupid, goofy junk. You know what I'm saying? So that was my whole thought process. So the whole year went by. I partied like every night, damn near, in senior year. So by the time the end of the school year came around, they was doing a college, you know, packets and stuff like that. Everybody was doing their homeroom college packets. And I was looking around like, what y'all doing? It was like, we getting ready to go to college. What you doing? I was like, I don't know. And they was like, man, and my homeboy Julius, he was like, man, come on down to the recruiting station with me. We can go join and see if we can join the Air Force. And I was like, okay, bet. We go down there, you know what I'm saying, to the recruiting station in Harvey. And we tried to go to the recruiters, and the Air Force people was closed. You know, they had the blinds was closed, the lights was off, and everything like that. And then we came back. We was like, okay, we're gonna come back. So, but when we went the first time, it was a bunch of Army dudes in the office. You know, they was just all just standing there, sitting around, about 9 of them. You know what I'm saying? Recruiters up in there just joking and smoking, just joking around, whatever. So we left and we came back the next day. So we come back again, Air Force closed again. I was like, dang, man, I don't know what's up, man. You know what I'm saying? So I don't think it's meant for us to go. So dude, one of the recruiters came out the Army thing. He was like, hey, man, we saw y'all here yesterday, man. Y'all might as well come on over here, man, and talk to us, man. You ain't gonna never see them dudes. We was like, what? He's like, yeah, come holler at us, man. See what you got for us. So we said, man, all right, fuck it, man. We're gonna go up in there and check it out. So they said, man, hold on a minute. Before we do all this, I'm gonna take you around here to this game. You know what I'm saying? They took us to a basketball game. They took us to get some Burger King. Yeah. Man, we went to the basketball game. We had some Burger King, man. I was like, yo, where do we sign up at, bro? Where do we sign? This is it right here, bro. This is it. This the life. I was like, yo, man. And they was like, look, man, we could get you to sign, you know what I'm saying, to go ahead and come and join the Army. You take this test, this ASVAB. I said, all right, bet. So we went and got down to the ASVAB, the day of the ASVAB. It's like hundreds of people. You know what I'm saying? Hundreds of people out there taking the test. So I'm in that mug, nervous as hell. You dig? I'm nervous because I'm like, I ain't good at taking tests. You know what I'm saying? Back then, I was just like, man. So my homeboy, he super confident. You know what I'm saying? He was extra confident. My boy was ready. I was like, damn, wish I had that much confidence. You did. So we go in the room and everybody take the test. You know how it is. They administer the test. They pass all the paperwork out, all this, and give you your pencils and everything. So I'm then sitting there nervous, trying to figure out, damn, what I'm gonna do. So I'm taking the test, and my homeboy, he finished in 10 minutes. I said, damn, he was up and he was out.
Yo.
10 minutes, man. I was like, damn, he was quick. And I was sitting up there nervous as hell, man. I was like the last person, one of the two last people out of the room to finish their test. So we go outside and they calling names, right? So it was like Jackson, yeah, Jones, okay, Williams, like go over here. And they's like Rogers, go over there. I'm like, dang. I'm standing on the side. I just knew it. I was like, dang, I'm done, man. I was like, I don't know. I was thinking like, what I'm gonna do next, man. Like, I'm trying to figure out my life. I was like, I don't know what's gonna happen next. So they was like, all right, we need to talk to y'all outside. And I was like, damn. So we go outside and dude gathered us around. He's like, congratulations, y'all passed the test. We're like, what? I was like, oh shit. So we go back in. I go see my boy. And he talking to the other recruiter. You know what I'm saying? And his face didn't look right. I was like, damn. So I walk up to him and I was like, yo, man, what's up, bro? And he's like, I ain't make it, man. I didn't pass. I said, damn, you lying. Because we supposed to go on the buddy pass too. You know what I'm saying? You get that PFC rank and all that stuff. We supposed to go on the buddy pass too. He said, I didn't make it, bro. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to come back. He said, I'm going to come back and, take the test again. You know what I'm saying? I said, damn, bro. So I'm sitting up there mad as hell that he didn't pass because he the one told me to go. You know what I'm saying? He told me to come with him. I'm sitting there, man. I'm like, I can't believe you didn't pass this damn test, man. You the one brought me out here. You know what I'm saying? Now, what the hell am I supposed to do? I don't know how to do nothing about no army. You know what I'm saying? I'm nervous as hell. I'm like, man, I don't know what the hell I'm doing in no army. Man, I'm scared. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, damn, this is really about to happen. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like 18 years old. I'm like, this is really about to happen. And your ass telling me you ain't going? I was like, come on, man. We supposed to go together. So then he was like, man, I ain't go. So ended up leaving, you know what I'm saying, Fort Jackson, all that good stuff like that, you know what I'm saying, picking and everything like that. Fast forward in the story, I saw him, I came back to the crib and I was asking everybody, you know what I'm saying? Where Julius at? Where Julius at? Where Julius at? Because, I went through basic and all of that shit. You know what I'm saying? Went to Germany, got with y'all and everything. So went to Germany, got with y'all. So I wanted to tell him, man, thank you. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? I wanted to thank him, you know what I'm saying, for, giving me that push. You know what I'm saying? That I needed, that I didn't even know that I needed at that time. You know what I'm saying? Because I was just stuck on stupid. You know what I'm saying? I was stuck on stupid doing dumb shit. And I was content with doing dumb shit. You see what I'm saying? So I was happy with that lifestyle. And I didn't even realize that I needed to change. So I wanted to thank him for getting me to that point. You know what I'm saying? But I couldn't find him. So anyway, I think when did Facebook start? Was it Facebook? I can't remember. 2009 or some shit.
Or Black Planet.
Was it Black Planet? It was before
Black
that.
Planet was first. Or MySpace.
It may have been Facebook. I think it was Facebook or some shit like that. I can't remember. But Facebook, I think it was, but I had been looking for him for years and nobody knew where Julius was. I would get little reports here and there. You know what I'm saying? I don't know, man. I seen him, a couple of months, you know what I'm saying? I seen him here, woo, woo, woo. I will always check my boys when I go back home, man. Hey, man, y'all seen Julius? Anybody seen Julius? I'm trying to find him, man, so I can thank him. So I ain't seeing nothing. So anyway, I think Facebook or some shit, I think it may have been 2013. 2013. I was going to the Bahamas. And me and the wife, he went to Bahamas and shit like that and kicking it. And then I had touched base, I think right before I left. I had sent a message or some shit. And Julius had sent a message to me on Facebook, like right before I left the damn, you know, for the Bahamas. And I was talking to him, I said, yo, man, you know, I was happy, excited, you know what I'm saying? Finally found him, you know what I'm saying? Man, I've been looking for you for years. Just like when I found Jack, you know what I'm saying? I've been looking for you for years, man, you know what I'm saying? So finally found him. And then he said, I'm coming to the Bahamas too. I said, you gotta be lying, bro. I said, you lying. He said, yeah, man, me and my family taking a cruise down to the Bahamas, man. I said, you bullshitting. I said, man, we flying in, we gonna be there this time. He said, yeah, I'm gonna be there at the same time. I said, you gotta be shitting me, bro. Like, for real. So the universe brought us back. And he's like, man, let's meet in the Bahamas. So we met up at, what's the name of that hotel out of the Bahamas, man, the big one. Damn, I can't remember. It's like the big hotel in the Bahamas. You know what I'm saying? I can't remember. If you ever been in the Bahamas, you know what I'm talking about. But we met at the hotel, man. I finally met that brother back. Man, I ain't seen him since high school. 2013, I think it was over damn near some 15 years or some shit like that. Since that last time that we was at that test, that recruiter station, that was the last time I seen him at that recruiting station where we took that test until the Bahamas. That was I said, damn, all that time had passed and all of that stuff that happened. You know what I'm saying? I was like, man, boy, I tell you, it's an amazing.
Jack,
yo,
Jack, be careful, man. This brother Sean will show up at your job, man. This cat from California.
Hey, yo, that's all right with me, man. Cause look, I done talked about that joke on my job, man. You know what I'm saying?
Hey,
young cats, man, I be talking to
on you.
Hey,
he was showing. My brother was at the gas station next door to my job. I said, man, I'm coming out right now, man. Jay got me like,
what year was that?
Too,
we was in LA. We was in LA.
Yeah,
what year was that?
Came out, I can't remember the year. Maybe 2011.
Was it
somewhere
11?
between like 2009 and 2012? Because I was still working over there in the jungles, right? And I remember you came to visit your brother. Your brother was living in Palmdale at the time, right?
Yep, he was in Palmdale.
Came to LA. Fucking Jay did me like that too. Jay showed up one, hey kid, I just picked up a rental car. I'm going to Vegas. I'm like, dude, what you? How you gonna come to LA? You don't even tell me, dude. Like, all the men at the airport, right? So Jay did a drive-by. I mean, you know, he came by mom's crib and seen me that day, you know. But
yeah,
it is beautiful, man, when you get to see brothers that you haven't seen. You know, and we've known each other for 3 decades now, right?
That's right.
It's beautiful.
Especially brothers that had impact on your life, man. You know what I'm saying? That had impact on your life that helped you, you know, get to the point where you need to be. You know, I got a story for Brian too. When he come on, I got a story. Man. You know what I'm saying?
Did you guys see the message? Did you guys see the message?
Yeah, man. Shout out, man. Shout out to B. You know what I'm saying? Condolences, you know, to him and his family, man. You know what I'm saying? Losing a loved one is never easy, man. You know, we just went through that with our family, man. It's tough. Yeah. And heart goes out to him, man. You know what I'm saying? Straight for real.
Hey, on a lighter note, I had a relative that transitioned recently too. And when I found out, you know, it was a shock because I thought he died a few years ago. So
you didn't even know he was
right. I'm like, oh, he just okay, well,
like
I feel better. You know, because he was somebody now I'll be honest, you know, I'm the black goat from a black sheep family. So all my people is, you know, we all questioning it. Right? But I ain't a sheep, I'm a goat. I'm sorry, I'm not a sheep. I'm a black goat from a black sheep family. And this brother that I'm talking about, you know, I'm a relative, it was a distant cousin of mine. You know, I'm from one of them families probably like, yo, well, you got first cousins that's old enough to be your grandparents. You know, I'm one of those.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, yeah. No doubt.
Yeah.
You know, my cousin was in his 80s and I didn't even know. I thought he died a long time ago. But, you know, rising power, Jesse Bell.
Man. Yeah, for sure.
But, you know, one day we'll have this conversation and I'll be able to break it down. You know, some of the work that I do, I am I'm a certified neurolinguistics programmer. I do hypnotherapy. I do life coaching work for people. I set up deity charts for them and help you do your deity work so you can figure out which gods and goddesses belong to you.
Word up.
You can start using the nectar in your favor. I also help people with ancestor work, you know, so for people that are interested in ancestor work, you know, I help them settle some issues, you know, because I'm going to tell you, brothers, the first God that you meet in your life is your mama.
That's right. That's absolutely right. Yeah, you come straight from your mama womb. That's the first.
Your mama was your first. She was your first power. She was the one when you cried, she threw something in your mouth, right?
That's right.
Exactly.
And
that's
so
the first one, right?
It's also ironic. That's where a lot of people's issues, and you guys notice, especially with our sisters, a lot of them have mama drama issues that we need to work through. You know, when you look to this person for answers and she couldn't always give you the answers. And I feel like sending this jive ass straight to voicemail because he don't need to call me for whatever it is he needs. Let me see.
He must know you live.
That bought me 2 more minutes, right? Oh, man, I need to cover this up so people can't see this. He at work and he ain't even working. But yeah, you know, I help people work through the issues. You know, like I have a lot of friends that I have a friend in particular who had an abusive father, right? And his father transitioned almost 30 years ago. But you know, this brother was still walking around with this very bad. Yeah, he was still carrying that trauma with him, you know, from being raised with an abusive father. And, you know, I had a few conversations with the brother, and it wasn't so much something that I said. It was actually later on, we were watching Professor James Small, who we'll talk about.
That brother's an excellent brother. Yeah,
man,
that brother's excellent.
That's one of my living heroes, man.
Yeah, that brother's excellent, man.
Professor Smalls was talking about something, and then the light, you know, popped on in my brother's head, and we circled back to our conversations about him doing the work with his dad to get over these issues. So he was able to take it in, you know, and take the resources that I had helped him with, and he started using the tools, and he's doing much better now, you know. But that's what we're here to do, is to help people get over the like spiritual blockages that are preventing them from becoming the fullest manifestation of the person that they're supposed to be, you know, because that's what, if we were to go into the Hebrew and look up the word Messiah, it comes from the word Mishayak, which means the fullest extension of man. Right. And what is the fullest extension of man? Well, if you look at it like me, your fullest extension is you are limitless. You're limitless. There's no bounds to what your mind can fathom, right? And so I do a lot of work with people outside of this work here to help them realize their infinite potential, you know, to be able to tap into themselves, to get all the answers, because, you know, we are just seeds continually unfolding. All the answers are written in your DNA code to begin with.
Akashic records. Yeah, your Akashic records.
You're born with.
Yeah, brother, you know, hey, we got the tools, we just don't always know how to use them. And then to circle back to something that Jack mentioned earlier too, you know, when when we were younger, and dealing with brothers that were older than us that should have been able to lead us on a little bit better, right? When we were approached with the Masonic thing, it was a little bit repulsive to us because of what was perceived as secrecy. But being raised in Cedars of Lebanon, number 65, right? And being a master mason myself nowadays, it was something that I wish I did when I was 21. I wish I did it then, because I would have had the information then that I fought against for so long, only to come back around and go, you know what, I'm gonna do this. And once I did it, I realized, you know what, this shit ain't shit. Right. And neither are these cats that I'm going, you know, in fellowship with, they ain't nothing. Right. Because I'm the one that's being asked, hey, brother, you know, you should go up to be the grand orator.
Grand master.
You should be the grand orator. You know, you should come and do speeches, and you should do these things. And we have a school of knowledge here in LA. It was run by Angel City Lodge, right? But we had a school of knowledge, and we had places that were designed for brothers to come to. I'm gonna tell you, the original premise of Prince Hall Masonry was this was the Black Illuminati. This was the forum that we had to come to discuss things that we knew, hey, when this person leaves, they ain't gonna tell nobody what goes on in the lodge, right? They're not gonna tell you what we talked about. And when you go back and you research, yeah, that wasn't just Prince Hall. It was like 30 brothers named Prince that were on the original charter. But you also had people like Frederick Douglass. You had one of my greatest unsung, unheard of heroes by the name of Beverly Pascal Randolph, right? He's known as the father of sex magic. Beverly Pascal Randolph. Yeah.
I'm gonna have to research that name.
Brother, he's known as the father of sexual magic, and that's the name of one of his books. Yeah. But this brother went around the world, and he was teaching people over in Europe that had no concept of what this even meant, right? And he was an abolitionist. Brother was born in New York during that time of gangs of New York, right? During the gangs of New York time, right? Grew up in the slums, self-educated like we are, went out here, did magnificent things. Nobody knows who this cat was, right? And he was a contemporary of Frederick Douglass. He was an abolitionist who fought, to do things to get our people emancipated from the enslavement that they were suffering from, right? So it's only right, now bringing it back, a couple hundred years later, that we bring this information to the youth so you guys understand, look, we've been through things that you don't necessarily have to go through in order to extrapolate the information that's publicly available, right?
That's right. You just need to know.
It's in one of these, right? It's in a so-called smartphone. Like, you can get all the information, but it's just like eating fish, right? You fillet the fish, you still find bones in it. So it's bones and information. But when you take a scholarly approach to things, then you're going to make sure, hey, if I find this and these things are saying con, I also need to study the things that are pro. And then you weigh those in the balance and you see, hey, this is right and this part is wrong.
Right.
And this is what I need to use to, go further. So, in this process of elevation and building up the youth them and all of that, I am excited to give back. I've been asked for many years, when you going to do a show, when you going to, we need this information. We need to be teaching it. Because I used to have classes, and I had cats that eventually they'll jump on here too. But I have brothers and sisters that came to me years later and said, hey, remember you taught that class on this? No, I don't remember. No, I got your notes. I'm like, really?
Yeah, that's good stuff.
When I see what they did with it, I said, you know what? I'm like Johnny Ganja seed, right? I just run around the earth dropping seeds everywhere.
That's
and where
right.
they spring up, spring up, right? That's all we're here to do, is to share the information. None of us own this. We're giving it freely, right? Because it was freely given to us. And this happened because of the spirit that was already on us, right? It wasn't something that was necessarily learned. It was in all of us to do these things naturally, right? And I've been to a few speaking engagements recently where I was so elated because I looked at the crowd and I said, damn, if there were 100 people there were only about 7 my age. All the other 93 were millennials.
They was young. They want to know.
Man, I was proud. I was happy because I said, shit, the future is going to be all right, because with my generation, there would have been less people of my age bracket, right? 30 years ago involved in these forums. Now I'm seeing, there's more youth there. And so when I end up going, I try not to speak because it to me, it becomes distracting if, somebody's teaching something and then they're doing Q&A and I bring up a topic that they're like, oh, then everybody wants to know, when are you doing a lecture, right? When are you going to, what you need to teach, right? You need to be doing these things.
Dude, man, I'm telling you that everybody's here on our own spiritual journey. We all are here, I believe, to have this life experience. You know what I'm saying? Your life experience is what you're meant to learn. And I believe, man, to be honestly, from my research, that I chose this for myself. You know what I'm saying? It's no accident that we are here right now speaking the way we are. It's no accident that we met 30 years ago in Germany, in another land. We were from different places in the world. And there's no coincidence that we just met in Germany together, you know, so it was meant for us to meet, you know, for us to be able to share knowledge and information, to be able to get us on the path to where we learn something spiritually and grow from that. You see what I'm saying? So those experiences and things of that nature, but you had to introduce it. You had to give me that seed to be able to plant it in my mind, to be able to go and research it and to experience it for myself. You see what I'm saying? So we all are on this spiritual journey, you know, and we gotta
figure was so commonly said back then, man. Especially, you know, we used to listen to PRT and Brand Nubians, right? And picking up 5% information for brothers like Batten, right? Batten was bringing the
KRS-One.
Yeah, you know, Batten, Raymond bringing the information.
Oh yeah, I wasn't gonna leave Raymond out, man.
Hey, you know, my brother had me. I was pen pals with somebody in Rikers. You know, brothers swear up and down. Ain't nobody got 180. Nobody got 180 degrees of knowledge. I'm like, well, Supreme Born Allah on Rikers Island, they sent me a whole handwritten sheet of information, right? But even with that, you know, there was something that always stuck out, which was the premise of each one teach one.
Right.
Yeah. And that's what we did, man. Brothers shared information that it sparked that, you know, that bell went off in your head that go, oh, let me go check this out. You know, well, brother, you got something I can read about that? Or you got this, you know, yeah, brother, here, check it out, you know? And so, you know, it's something that we are pretty much bound to do anyway, spiritually. We're bound to do that. Go ahead, bro.
You're talking about connecting the dots and all of that, man. You know what I'm saying? When we sat down and me and Kip, man, began to construct the song, man, again, Standing on the Rock, I got to keep going back to it because it contains so much information and so many things that we talk about, right? So 360 degrees, you know what I'm saying? You come from knowledge going back to knowledge. You come from God going back to God. You know what I'm saying? You're going to travel that full circle, man. And in that full circle, you know what I'm saying? You're going to come in contact with so many things. And you see how even the religious principles begin to connect. You see how the spiritual principles begin to connect. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, so we are still being separated by things that should be bringing us together.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Well, that's by design. You know that.
Even the
You know that's by
skin,
design.
Even the color skin, man. Come on,
that's
man.
by design. So we allow those things to separate us. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, this Still Building podcast, man, is a great thing because we all have different faiths and beliefs and understandings. But like I said, we can come together and be respectful as men and be like, okay, yeah, I can hear that. I can hear your side of perspective from that and not be judgmental. You know what I'm saying? And all that stuff like that. So I'm like, cool, man. You know what I'm saying? That's, you know, like I said, we all are here to learn spiritually on our level, you know, and we should be open-minded enough to be able to just not be afraid to listen and to understand. Absolutely. You know what I'm saying? For us to understand and to actually listen. And that's how we grow. You know what I'm saying? So like I said, man,
learn to disagree and still love each other, man.
Yes,
exactly.
Man.
Yeah, you can agree to disagree. You're like, that's cool. That's cool too. That's cool too. It might not be, you might not be ready for that at that time. You see what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So everything is in everybody's timing. You know, you may hear something today that you may not be ready for yet, but maybe 5 years, 10 years down the road, something happens in your life where you see now how it fits. You be like, oh man, you know, I heard that on Still Build podcast 5-10 years ago. Oh, we talked about that on the podcast, you know what I'm saying, a couple of years back. You know, so something could resonate with you, you know what I'm saying, but it may take time, you know, so it's just one of those things, bro. Like I said, the Mason, you were talking about the Masonic order and stuff like that. When I was in Kemet in Egypt, on the walls in stone, you know, the brothers, you know, already carved the craft out. So the craft of Amun Ra had already been there for several thousands of centuries. You know what I'm saying? So masonry is nothing new.
No.
Africans started it way before Africans started it all the way back then with the Kari head priests coming out of Karnak Temple.
All my searching, man, everything led back to Great Kemet, right? I'm also a member of a fraternity called the Rosicrucian. I'm a member of the Rosicrucians.
Yeah.
Expressly Kemetic in background. And like Ashwar Kwesi does, like you do, right?
Yeah.
They have an annual trip to Kemet as well. They go and do the intonations in the Great Pyramid, right? When you look at so-called great philosophers and not just Plato, Socrates, what's the other guy's name? Hermes Trice.
Herodotus.
Pythagoras.
Yeah.
Yeah, you look at these cats, man, spent decades learning in the mystery schools, right? In Great Kemet. And I've always likened it to this, right? Humanity pretty much got the same story based on their alignment to our cosmic newspaper, which is the constellations, right? So depending on where you are on this plane, you know, you may see a few different stars that we can't see in this hemisphere, that it doesn't really change the story. It just gives you another perspective of the same story, right? But that was our cosmic newspaper, you know, as above, so below. So when we looked up there, the first thing that happened was zoomorphology, right? We made an association with animals to the constellations. And then later in history, when the Greeks and then the Romans and subsequent societies became involved, they continued zoomorphology into animalmorphology, and they changed the animals into humans, right? So, you know, just knowing that was a big, like, you know, my head blew up. I'm like, oh, okay. So all of this, it's the same story. It's just really based on your alignment with the constellation, on, you know, the information that you were going to receive. And I know this may offend some people, but I'm wholeheartedly in agreement with, you know, we come out of the lineage of people that were here on the planet Earth first. If you were blood type O, right?
Yeah, that's me. O negative.
Oh, it ain't no blood type older than O. That's original blood. You got
original blood, yeah.
Old blood. You know, we are descendants of the first humans that were genetically modified to inhabit the spirits that we have today. Our souls were placed into this body as part of this cosmic slop on this third planet from the sun, you know. We're not as old as our Swai people or the Twa, you know, the original pygmies. They were here before the moon was moved here, right? The moon was moved here to help regulate the seasons on this plane. And then originally the first creatures that were here were self-duplicating, which were women. So I know that's gonna, you know, hit a lot of people wrong. Let me take this call. Right back.
All right, we're gonna touch on that. We're gonna touch on that subject at another late date and time. Hey, that one is deep one right there, because I think I did a not a podcast, but a Marifa Moment video off of that, you know, about how women were able to reproduce without male, you know, sperm and stuff like that at a certain period of time in history, you know. So there was a point way many centuries ago that was occurring, you know what I'm saying? So we all start out as females in the womb, you know, and then when you go through the embryo, the process of pregnancy and birth, you know, you grow, you know, your chromosomes will split, your X and Y chromosomes, and then you either you know, have that split and become a male, or you stay, you know, XX and stay a female. But we all start out as female, you know, as from birth, you know what I'm saying? So it just depends on if the chromosomes split or not.
Being tied in biblically, man. Look at the birth of Jesus Christ, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Without, you know what I'm saying? Without a human father. You know what I'm saying? Spiritual. Exactly.
That's right. You know? That's
so,
spiritual.
Yeah.
You gotta understand.
Even that concept, man, is tied into things that, again, we overlook sometimes, or we might disagree with based on what we've been taught.
Yeah. I'm telling you, man.
That's an outstanding thing, man.
Yeah, I'm not gonna disagree. I'm just gonna make it. I'm just gonna try to enhance it.
Right.
I'll agree with you and say, okay, you know, that's like this too. And then, you know, all you're going to do is say, that, well, you know what, brother, you're right. You're right. Because, you know, eventually it's about universality amongst us. You know, how do we get along with each other? You know, how do we tear down those walls of partition that exist, usually for systemic issues. You know, they all stem from systemic. It wasn't designed for us to all coexist. Right. You know, Babylon don't work that way. Babylon is confusion. Babylon, you know, and Babylon is any big place where people are gathered together. Then we have this, you know, ball of confusion, and everybody's, you know, it's my way, you know, and I want to do it like this. And I believe, you know, and just personally, there are certain words I try to keep out of my personal dictionary when I'm explaining stuff. You know, like I don't say, I don't believe shit. I can tell you what I know, but I can't tell you what I believe, because, you know, belief is based on acts of faith, not based on facts. Right. Yeah. And when it comes to like faith, you know, faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. But faith is not shit unless you're doing the works. Right. So faith, I liken faith to this. I get a new job pressing buttons, right? Making buttons. I got to press buttons to make buttons, and I'm going through training for 30 days. That's my little probation period, right? I ain't never pressed a button before in my life. But my faith is I'm going to know how to do this when these 30 days is up. Right. Once the 30 days are up, once my probation is over and they go, okay, you a full-fledged button pusher right now, then hey, it ain't no more faith in that because I've already accomplished it. So faith is just that absence of being able to say I know, but you know, eventually you'll have the knowledge, wisdom, and understanding to complete a certain task, right? So even faith is just temporary, you know, but I'm really cautious about, you know, it's just my personal brothers. I don't get offended when people use certain terms, you know, it's just for me to be as clear as possible. I speak in the terms of things to make sure, like, you know, hey, you know, real quick one. Me and my ex-wife, I have two children by, and we had agreed years before they were born, you know, we're not going to force religion upon our kids. You know, we'll let them do what they need to do. We'll guide them along the way. Right. My daughter, who I used to call fearless, because this little Negro will walk through the house in complete darkness, you know, and you find cookies in her bed, you know, like how you go through the whole, it's black in here, right? I'm not scared, right? So one day, you know, me and the mom are separated, and we're divorced now, but my daughter, she's about 4. She comes over to the house, you know, a little older, about 6.5. Yeah. And I slipped up and said something like, damn it. You know, she's like, oh, Daddy, don't say that. I said, don't say what? She said, don't say that word. I said, well, who you been talking to? She said, well, Ma, you know, Ma been reading the Bible to us. And I'm like, oh, okay, here we go. Right. So I did something, and I'm just being honest, brothers. You know, I'm an open book, right? I ain't got nothing to hide from nobody, right? So I'm gonna be honest. You know, I asked my daughter, I said, well, wait a minute, you know what? You think something bad will happen to me if I say that? She goes, yeah. I said, hold on. So I call her brother, get in here, because I ain't gonna say this twice. Gideon, come in here, right? So her brother comes in, and mind you, yeah, my youngest two, 14 months apart, it was almost like raising twins, right? Because they're closer in age. So I want to make sure, you know, hey, let's knock this out right now. So he comes in there and says, what's this stuff y'all been going through, right? So he tells me, you know, so I asked my daughter, so if I say, you know, God damn it, and she said, don't say that. I said, what you think, something gonna happen to me? She said, yeah. And like at the same time, I asked her, like what? And I say this as she's saying it, like I'm gonna get struck by lightning. She goes, yeah. This is bold as hell, man. But, you know, they my babies, and I don't believe in talking baby talk to nobody. I just, you know, keep it 100 with them, right? My children have been functional since they was in, you know, car seats, right? We'd have full-blown conversations. Exactly. But, you know what? Exactly. I said, fuck God, right? My son started.
I don't mean to laugh, but I did that same thing on Facebook, and people lost their minds.
I did it for the shock value. I know it's a little self, you know, grandiose in myself or whatever, but I just did it to show my daughter, you know, ain't shit gonna happen right now, right? Right. And this is something that, you know, I'm here to help you with anyway. So that was actually like the beginning of my early spiritual training with my children as well, you know, and I realized like, hey, I got to get you guys involved in some of the things that I do, right? So My babies come over the next week, you know, they come to visit daddy. I have my altar set up, my son run in and, oh, that's a crystal, right? My son is all right. Oh, I like this one, makes me feel happy. This one here feels cold, right? And so I'm already like, oh, you kind of got a natural gift for this, right? So at that point, I just started doing, you know, whenever I had time with my children, before I had to transport them back to their mother, you know, we would sit down, go to the altar and do some altar work. My children enjoy burning ancestor money, you know, and I didn't even have to say it. You know, my son was like, oh, it's like it dematerializes here and it materializes on that side. And I'm like, exactly. But, you know, all that to say, again, I use words with the intent of conveying my exact message. You know, I don't want to speak in mixed words and mince words, and I don't speak with a forked tongue. You know, I shoot from the hip and I keep it 100 funky fresh with you, right? Because that's what we're here to do. And you guys have known me. I have not changed. You know, if anything, I may have grown a little bit, right? But I'm never too grown to not keep learning, right? I'm never too grown to not stay open. And I'm never too grown to remember that, like the good book tells you, right? We're still supposed to be like children, right?
Right.
We're like children. When you look at a kid, man, like the song back in the day when I was young, right? You get in a little squabble, and 5 minutes later, you back on the bikes playing again, right?
Back homies again. Y'all back homies again.
Know, but you don't stay bitter and hold grudges and I'm not going to talk to this cat no more unless the kid really did you wrong. You know what I'm saying? There are some that I don't have many friends, but when I was a child, there weren't too many kids that I just didn't mess with, right? Everybody seemed to be cool. But you know, there was always that one a-hole that everybody was like, nah, not that kid. Not that. He don't just eat boogers, you know. He don't just eat boogers. He like to flick them at people too, right? So, we know, you know, there's some people that, right? You know, we know that there are some people in this lifetime, in this current carnation, that we seem to have like a cosmic agreement with to not get along with, right? My ex-wife was one of those. I can admit it. You know, hey, I only slept with this chick to have kids. That was it.
That was your mission. That was the purpose. That was all purpose.
Other way, we don't get along, right? But when it comes to them kids, that's what this whole thing was about, was just bringing them two young souls into this world, and I can go on with my life, and she can continue to be the catastrophe that she is, right? Oh yeah, and I hope she dies. But,
look, hey man,
I'm gonna tell y'all this, man. The levels of it. Go ahead, Jack.
Hey, a bruised body heals pretty quickly, but a bruised soul, it takes time.
Yes.
Yeah, and I mean, it's levels, man, to understanding, you know what I'm saying? It's, you know, you can find good things in all things. You know, all religions have good things, like you have said before. There's pros and there's cons. You got to be able to identify those things to be able to use what you need on your spiritual journey to go forward. You know, I can find positive things in Christianity, Islam, you know what I'm saying? I can find positive things in spirituality, you know, and there's some things that may not be so good, you know, that you can say, okay, I'm not going to mess with that. You know what I'm saying? But the good things I will take with me and use those in my path, in my journey, to be able to grow spiritually and learn from this experience. You know what I'm saying? So there are good things, you know, like when your babies came through, it's like, well, you ain't gonna be, you can't do that because, you know, something gonna happen to you bad. You can't say that. And then you kind of dispel that myth. We're like, no, there's nothing that's gonna happen. You know, it's gonna be okay. Here, let me show you this and let me teach you this. So they get a well-roundedness, not only just one-sided, you know what I'm saying, a well-roundedness understanding of everything, you know, so that way you get that perspective as well, you know. So like I said, man, it's good in everything, you know. You just gotta identify it and know what it is and find it, you know. So you can't just be, and that's the problem with, like we said, with separation and how they use things in order to divide us, you know, instead of using it to unite us. You know what I'm saying? They use them like, oh no, this is gonna do this to you if you do that, or if you say this, you know, this is gonna happen to you. You know, instead of telling the truth. You know, the truth is like, well, that really ain't gonna happen to you. Like, so you gotta be truthful.
Yeah. Hey, Sean, it's a phrase that you always use, man, that I want to probably try to shed a little light on. You dig?
You dig?
You dig? Now, check this out, right? In order to build the foundation, you first have to dig. In order to get knowledge, you got to dig in and get that knowledge. You know what I'm saying? If you study the Bible, study it. You know,
study it. I recommend people do read it. I recommend people read it.
Hey,
I recommend they read the Bible from beginning to end. I read it from beginning to end 3 times. I recommend you read it. You know what I'm saying? Don't skip. Even don't skip over the genealogies and all of that, the thous and these. Read everything so you can gain an understanding of what you claim to believe in and know.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? But I ain't mean to cut you off. Go ahead, bro. Go ahead.
No.
You was talking about digging.
Yeah. But that was basically the spiel on digging. You know what I'm saying? In order to uncover the truth, you got to dig.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? In order to uncover any kind of treasure, you got to dig. You know what I'm saying? So I like that term, you know what I'm saying? To a certain, you dig? You know what I'm saying?
You did.
Look, check this out, right? When I got my shirt from you, right? I know who I am, right?
That's right.
People reading it, you know what I'm saying? They're like, I know who I am. I say, you got to read the word. They say, okay. I was like, no, you got to read the word. When you read the word, you'll know who you are. You know what I'm saying? So that means, from my perspective, go in, study. You know what I'm saying? When you study, you'll become knowledgeable about who you are, where you come from, what your purpose is. You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
And even why things seem to be against you. You know what I'm saying? The odds and everything else. You know? And of course, man, you know, we started out talking about our journeys and stuff, man, but I'm sure as we go on, we'll probably continue because, man, it's so many things, man, that, you know, points where I've been almost at the bottom. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And I'm like, man, you know, like 3 seconds from homelessness, stuff like that. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And every step of the way, man, I keep on moving.
Right.
You know?
Right.
So,
man,
that's gonna be a topic. That's gonna be a topic of the discussion we got to talk about.
I had some cutoffs, man. I had written the lyrics to Standing on a Rock too, man. I wish I knew what happened to them pants, right? But those lyrics have always kind of stuck with me too, you know, and it's I guess, you know, like things happen in stages, right? You kind of go through, well, personally, I go through, you know, like 5-year, 10-year reflections, right? And you know, I reflect back to that period thinking, damn, you know, here I go thinking I was standing on the rock and I was on the ledge, you know, it was just like another, it was a point that I had reached in my life. Yeah, I was just on the ledge, you know, I needed to keep going, right? And there's no stop, you know, like, again, you know, I use connotations from the Bible because most of our people are used to hearing excerpts from the Bible, you know, like Paul wrote, you know ye not that ye all run a race, but you're striving for mastery. So, you know, it don't matter, man. This life has been a relay race, right? We run, we take the baton and we run with it, we pass it to the next person. But guess what? The race ain't over. It's not over. And then, you know, you also realize that we're all in a race in our own lanes, in our own vehicles, going different speeds. You know, like not everybody's moving at the same pace. So, you know, hey, my brother needs a little boost. Let me give you a boost. I'm gonna keep moving, though, right? And it's beautiful because when you get older, you reflect back to your youth. You know, you should also be able to see yourself. And I mentioned this earlier, you should see yourself in other people, man. Like realize, hey, I was 10 at one time. And when I was 10, I thought dumb stuff too, right? I thought, you know, hey, I could jump in the air and be Superman and all kind of stuff, you know, right? And it makes it easier when you kind of put yourself in that person's shoes, right? There's things that I've learned about myself. You know, I was at the beach and some people from Australia just, you know, the ladies like, hey, and she walks up, you know, I'm starting a bonfire and I'm looking like, ain't nobody on the beach but me. She must be talking to me. But then she turns to her husband. She's like, it's okay, honey. He'll help us, right? And so she walks over and, you know, we have this conversation. Well, you know, we got layover, so we just came, you know, so I'm telling them where to go and they walk off, right? And as they're leaving, one of my parties shows up, right? And it's a girl who's also into spirituality. So she's like, what was that all about? And it was just, you know, me being able to explain, like, okay, you know, when I told you I have this, you know, attraction, you know, that it falls in line with one of the Kemetic deities, Sutek or Set, right?
Yeah.
Set is known as the great unknown, but he's also the god to the foreigners, right? So it makes sense why weirdos, people, you know, I'm the dude like the Korean lady who speaks no English will come to me and ask for directions, right? I'm like,
right. Like, why would you pick me of all people? Right.
Everybody speaks Korean except for me, but you're gonna ask me, you know, but I understand why, you know, it's because they see a certain light in us, right?
Exactly.
So it's you know, helping people learn their alignments. Like, this is why these kind of people are attracted to you, you know, and it's nothing to sneer at or to, you know, to put, oh, I ain't gonna help you. No, like, no, you
can't. I call it spirit guides.
Yeah, man.
Spirit guides.
Like, and I realize, you know, that's what I'm a guide to the foreigners. You know, you're gonna be attracted to me, right? You're gonna want to come and ask the one black guy in the whole place. You know, I'm like, man, I'm in Koreatown and you asking me, you don't even speak English, but she gonna ask, so I gotta grab a passerby. Hey, can you translate this for me? Oh, sure. And then they kind of looking like, well, you know, this is your job, right? You're a black man in America. You're supposed to answer everybody's questions, right?
Right. You're supposed to have all the answers to every black question for
every question
so we can understand.
Speaking of gods, man, Psalm 85 and 15. Have I not said that you are gods?
That's right.
That's
right. And we know we're gonna die like men, but yeah, we are powers, man. We got the power. We got the power. And then there's understanding stuff too, like in the book of Hebrews, it tells you, and these things are allegories, right? So even with that, it's
in Ephesians too. Ephesians 4:24. Yeah, Ephesians 4:24 too. So all these things are allegories.
Or allegories, right? So when we look at what is an allegory, you know, well, these are things just like a parable. It has a higher meaning. It has a deeper meaning than the surface meaning. Right. So the surface meaning may be Mary had a little lamb, but the deeper meaning is she was in child trafficking, right? Or whatever. Right. So it's something more than just this chick got a bunch of lambs and everywhere she went, the lambs followed her. You know, no, what is the allegory really explaining? And that is universally applied, man. There's something for everybody in everything. If you're willing, like Jack pointed out, if you're willing to dig and do just a minimal amount of research, it don't even take a whole lifetime to extrapolate the answers and to get what you need. But it starts with this practice called postulating. Did you ever sit and postulate? You ever sit and just think about something?
Right.
And just think and then ask the question, what does this mean? And then know how to listen to hear the answer being given to you. So that's the part that we miss, man. I learned this a long time ago. I was listening to the radio one day, driving around, right? And they had this African priest on the radio, and he was explaining how to get into like ancestor work, right? And he said, you know, a lot of people are longing to hear from, and I had to give a young man this advice recently too. His father transitioned during the beginning of the Corona stuff, right? And I was getting answers from his daddy, right? You know, I keep hearing his dad popping up in dreams, and I'm going out the house, and I would think about his dad, you know, and then the phone would ring, or my man would post something. His son would post something on Facebook. I'm like, dang, I just was thinking about your dad, and he was saying this, right? So I worked with the brother to help him understand, like, bro, just start like this. Because he was like, man, I really want to talk to my dad. You know, I miss speaking. I said, bro, when you by yourself and you on your way to work, start talking to daddy, right? And if you listen, you will get the answers, man. They're going to come. I learned that for some ancestors, they talk to us through signs and symbols, right? So something may flash in front of you and you'll be like, damn, okay, there's your answer, right? But that's learning how to tap within. And this is the difference between education and edification, right? I'm not here to educate nobody. I'm here to edify you. If I'm educating you, that means I'm taking something without and I'm trying to put it into you. If I'm edifying Edifying is taking what is already within to you and bringing that to the surface, right? So that's all we're here to do, is to help edify each other. And again, still on that principle of each one teach one, right? So yeah, the answers are within you. You know, there's this saying that people, like, we say stuff, but we leave the second part off of it, right? Like we'll say, do as thou wilt, right? A lot of my people have an issue with that because they know that's a moniker used by Satanists as well.
Right.
Aleister Crowley and stuff, they be scared of that.
Yeah, man.
Madame Blavatsky, they be scared of that.
Look, and again, Madame Blavatsky is a student of Beverly Pascal Randolph.
Hey, that's
she didn't know what she knew until she started, you know, studying what Randolph had been writing, right? Aleister Crowley. When you start reading Crowley and you read up on this cat, you'll realize this dude said, I hate that I was born in the skin that I'm in. And wish that he was born black so it could be in him. Because he knew it's in us. It wasn't in him. That's why he went through all the things that he did to try to get answers to stuff that is in your ass naturally. It's in your black ass naturally, right?
And he was trying. He was trying his best.
Yeah, oh man,
he went over to Kemet and slept inside the pyramids and all type of stuff.
Yeah, there's some perverted stuff. Man, almost killed the dude over there, man. Dude almost killed this dude. He was over there, you know, man loving, right? But even with the like, do as thou wilt, there's another part to that. Is do as thou will, but do no harm, right?
Yeah, they leave that part out.
About it, if you think about it, we are here literally doing what we want to do, regardless of somebody feeling like I'm trapped in a situation. Tyrone keep going upside my head, and girl, I don't know what I'm gonna do. I got these kids, and you know he living. Hey, this dude got a warrant for his arrest. You still shacking up with a bum? You know, anyone on the outside can come up with 100 different ways Tyquisha can get herself out of this situation, right? She got Deltronica on the phone.
To stay in it.
Yeah, she got Aquanetta in this ear, Deltronica in this ear. They both telling the girl, get out of there, you know, but she doesn't have the will to do as she will, right? So, you know, there's things that like we know, hey, everybody is down here. Like people got upset when we mentioned that Punk's name earlier with Yeezy. When Yeezy said that slavery was a choice, right?
Right.
When you think about it, it was a choice. Some of our ancestors decided, you know what? I'll jump off the side of this ship and just start over. You know what I'm saying? This ain't right for me. I'm gonna go sleep with the sharks tonight, right?
Well, speaking of slavery, I don't mean to cut you off, bro. Speaking of slavery, we got a question in the chat room right here. Eve West, great. Shout out to Eve. Got a question in the chat room. This one might be good for you, Jack. I don't know. She said, slaves were forbidden to read, yet taught the Bible. Why?
Wow. That's a deep one, man. I look, I have to dig in order to answer that. You know what I'm saying? With
we're gonna let
a silent answer. You know what I'm saying? But regardless of whether or not we were taught the principles of the Bible or whatever it was, you know what I'm saying? We were taught those principles, right? So that they could, in fact, at that particular time, control us because they didn't give us the whole knowledge of the Bible. You know what I'm saying? Just like what Kit was saying just now. You know what I'm saying? We'll take a statement from the Bible, but we won't take the whole statement. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And then we'll run with that part that we've taken rather than getting the knowledge from the entire thing. So even though they taught us that, it's still tied into our spirituality. And not to mention, they knew, I don't know if they actually knew, you know what I'm saying? But the nature of Black people, for the most part, is humility. That's how we all able to come together in spite of all of our differences.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So we can humble ourselves, you know what I'm saying? And we don't mind submitting to what seems to be authority.
Yeah.
Right. So that's why
when the question, when Jack started talking again, music came to my mind, right? There's a song called Behavior. What is it? Mind Behavior Control Technician, right? By one of my favorite bands, Fishbone, right? And yeah,
he
I
told me
remember
about that when we was in DC.
Yeah, man. Look, it's behavior control, right? And it is sad that your book was taken from you and rehashed and then given back to you, right? All this information came from someplace. It came from your ancestors. It came from your greatness. But then it was watered down, right? Repackaged and given back to you as part of mind control, Yes, slaves were allowed to read only the Bible. And guess what? That Fisher Price Bible, a lot of y'all got that little one that's the Psalms and Proverbs, and it's the New Testament. That's what your black ass was allowed to read.
Right. They're Proverbs and Psalms.
yeah. They wouldn't let you, they're not gonna let you go down into the Old Testament and then you're gonna raise up like Nat Turner did and realize,
Thank you.
Well,
that's what I'm talking about.
Deuteronomy 28-68. We're gonna send them into slavery again, into Egypt again by slave ship and all of this, right? They didn't want you reading that, right? And then we have to understand this too. When you go back and you study, especially those that are descendants of Africans in America, right? In North America, Christianity and that Israelite stuff, when it was first practiced by our people, it was actually practiced in a Masonic way, right? How many of you have granddaddies, great uncles, great greats that can say, oh yeah, I know he was a Mason. He was a Mason. Most of them were. When we go back and we study people like the Noble Drew Ali, right? That was Masonry, man. Noble These guys understood that, man. They understood that this stuff is allegorical, and so we're going to teach it this way, right? People like what's the other brother's name? Elijah Poole, who became Elijah Poole Bey, who became the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. Also started out, he was involved with the Moorish movement, right? Here in America. Most of these people, and we don't study this as a whole, a lot of us blacks in North America don't come from ancestry that is particular to this country. And by that, what I mean is a lot of you people, myself included, have great-grandparents or great-great-great-grandparents that actually came from somewhere in the West Indies. They came from Central and South America to Babylon the Great. They came to America. When you go back and you study people like J.A. Rogers, right? There were a bunch of them because Louis Farrakhan is one of these too. He's from the West Indies, right? J.A. Rogers was from the West Indies. Marcus Garvey from the West Indies. There's groups, and I'm gonna drop these names so people can go and do your research on them, right? But there was a group called the African Blood Brotherhood for Black Supremacy, right? People don't even know about this. But there was a big influx of people like Harry Belafonte. Harry Belafonte was also one of these, right? That were West Indians that all came to the Americas in the late 1800s and the early 1900s, right? They came to the Americas. They realized, hey, these niggas here don't know nothing, right? And so they started
we can go ahead and take care of this.
Exactly. They started sharing information that they were already privy to with people here, and then societies began to grow. Some were Christians. Some were like the commandment keepers, right? When you do research on the commandment keepers, which like the first Hebrew Israelite group in North America, and you do your research into that, you'll see Abba Bivens was from Lagos, Nigeria. He petitioned the Ethiopian Royal Coptic Lodge back in Ethiopia to start a charter here in New York. When he did that, then you had your first Israelites here. And guess what? It was taught as masonry. I'll be right back.
Yeah. So yeah, man. So the chat is live right now. You know, it's popping. Got a lot of deep questions out there. Shout out to the chat room. You know what I'm saying? Appreciate the love, support. But got a question from Eve again, another good question. If something has to be decoded, technically the Bible, is it truly the word of God?
Wow. Now, look, from my point of view, we're gonna have to bring Kit back in on that one, man, unless you got some information in regards to it. You know what
So
I'm
I would
saying?
say like the historical, looking at it from the historical aspect of it, like we mentioned it earlier, that it came originally from Africans, the message, the words,
Right.
the spiritualness was derived from Africans, so when you look at who initially started, who were indoctrinated first by the Greeks, it was the Africans. The Africans they used, to be able to build their, religious things, and it was remixed and repurposed, like I said, and confused, because when you look at the Greek version versus the English version that we have, and you sit it side by side and compare the English with the Greek version of the Bible, like the Septuagint, doesn't match.
Right.
So those things are different. So what we have today in 2023 is the English version that was, sanctioned by King James, back in 1611 AD. What they had back then during the Greek time frame was something totally different, for that era of individuals. So they just remixed everything, like Kit was saying, and remixed it and gave it back to a new generation. It's just like there's nothing new under the sun. Nothing new under the sun. Everything is either remixed or recycled or something, and they take things out or leave things in that was good, and then they reform it to give it to a new generation who has no clue, who has amnesia when we come back into this world reincarnated. They don't even know. They have no clue. When the babies are born, they have no clue. They have to be taught everything. So whoever is in control and power, they can dictate what is being, produced, the propaganda that's being produced to the world. What is sanctioned for them to be able to put out, what can be, publicly stated or published, what I'm saying, and what can be mass produced and pushed to the people, and what is acceptable and what's not. So a lot of stuff, like you said, some of the stuff that we were talking about, what Kit was saying with Aleister Crowley and all that stuff like that is kind of shunned. People say, oh, that's satanic, we don't want to hear anything about it. But if you think about it from the mind state, you just got to put it all together to be able to put the puzzle together. So you got to read the information, you got to understand it to know the totality of everything that you're looking at. So you can't leave one part out and say, well, this is only that, without having the other piece of the puzzle. Your puzzle will be incomplete. So in order for you to complete a puzzle, you got to know all the information, you got to have all the pieces, and for them to be able to create something that was different than the original version, is definitely not, I would say, is not the word of God, the true word of God. The word of God, like Kit was trying to express, is within you. Everything is within you, your Akashic records.
Yeah. Hey, also, man, in regarding to decoding, right? Kit brought up the fact that you have to know the language. You know what I'm saying? Now, the forms that we have of the Bible now, transliteration, you know what I'm saying? When you transfer things from one language to another language, some things don't actually transfer. So
that's
again,
right.
Yep. It gets lost, you know what I'm saying, in that transfer from one language to the next language.
Yeah,
so
you know what, brother? I'm gonna give you
can't be described in the English language. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But the thing that we can carry forth based on, even stating what Sean just stated, and that is the spirituality of the whole thing. And that's why we have allegories and so on and so forth.
The parables,
so we might not have the actual word, but we know what it means, right?
Right.
So if we acquire those actions, then we can move forward, even though we don't have that original knowledge.
Yeah, you gotta have the deeper meaning.
You know what, too? Here's something that I use as a tool. Our next show, I'll definitely be, with my books and everything. I'm at the plantation today running the show. But I would suggest for anybody that is using the Bible, if you don't have one, get yourself a Strong's exhaustive concordance.
Yes.
Right? Yeah. Start with the Strong's, and I'll show you guys. I have one. I've had this book for about 30 years now, right? And I had highlighted on the back of mine. I have a paperback. I don't have the hardbound, but you'll find it in both. On the back of my book, it says, use your Strong's exhaustive to find the Hebrew word that lies behind the English translation. That is the purpose of using that tool, right? You can look up any word in the Bible and it'll show you everywhere it appears in the book, but then you can also read the original meaning of the word, right? And what you'll realize is, like in the Bible, there's a book called Numbers, right?
Right.
Most of us will read it and be like, oh yeah, let's just give you the numbers of the Israelites, as they left up out of the land of Egypt, and these were the sons of Reuben, and he had a son named this, and blah, 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 blah.
Right. Yeah.
When you go into the New Testament, you find the same thing, right? You go in the New Testament, it starts with, and these are the genealogies of Christ.
Right. Exactly.
The son of Joseph, the son of this person, the son of Obed, right? It starts
and he begot him, and he begot that.
Yeah.
the
when
begots.
You break it down, though, when you start looking up their names, it's kind of telling you, like, their names were like virtues, right? So when you read a person's name, it was this virtue begats this virtue. This virtue or this virtue came from doing this thing here, right? And then you'll realize, and a lot of people will remember this, when you were little children, you might have been taught Roman numerals, right? Roman numerals are part of the alphabet. Your original language is also comprised of alphabet, or letters that also have a numerical value. And you could do the research. I dare somebody to prove me wrong, because scientists have just come out and said there is no such thing as matter, right? I know this is astronomical, especially for those biochemical kids and everything.
They say there's no such thing as matter?
As matter.
No.
Matter does not exist. You know what exists? Numbers exist. Numbers exist. Those are things we can prove, right? We can prove numbers. Mathematics never wrong, right? But it's the mathematics that everything that exists because of numbers, right? And it's our alignments. So your
That's
name
like the Matrix
is
right
actually
there.
a number. Yeah, like everything is binary code, right? Everything is O's and ones, right? And then when you compound those things, you come up with frequencies that are the alignments that we fall in alignment with, right? So in the future, we'll break that down and go in. And I know, Sean, you probably got imagery. If not, I have some of Ra with the arms coming out of it, right? Of the sun with the arms coming down, right? And those are like, people will say, oh, well, those are the sun rays, right? Well, yeah, it is. But think of it like this, right? If we shine a light through a prism, it's going to give you a color bandwidth, right? And that bandwidth is spread out from left to right or right to left, right? But that bandwidth are the alignments that we fall in alignment with. For those that study West African spirituality, there's a term called Bawale. Bawale is the exchange of energy between everything, right? So the exchange of energy between Jupiter and the planet Earth, the exchange of energy between you and a rock, the exchange of energy between a plant and an animal, right? But everything has a frequency that it falls in alignment with. And that's what part of our purpose is here on the planet Earth too, is to align ourselves with the proper frequencies, right? To fall in alignment with the proper frequencies. So we know eventually it was supreme mathematics that brought us all together, right? Because none of us could have planned that. Like you guys are running down how you mistakenly or haphazardly ended up in the U.S. Army. I'm the same way. I'm no different, right? I was a kid in the 11th grade that was told, all y'all seniors in this class, y'all got to go take the ASVAB because some of y'all is too dumb to go to college. And, you ain't got no money, you're black ass poor. So you got to pay for college. So they all got up and left, right? Like, okay, I ain't a senior, I ain't leaving. But then the teacher said, hey, all y'all juniors, if you don't want to have to take this quiz, you need to go take the ASVAB too. I said, well, shit, I don't want to take no quiz. So I went and took the
ASVAB. They went into the quiz anyway.
Hey, and just like you brothers, oh yeah, we're going to do this on the buddy system, right? No, none of that shit worked, man. None of that worked, My buddies either flopped out or didn't, just the timing, right? But I was just like you guys, man. It wasn't my idea to go out here. You know, I thought I was too pretty to serve the U.S. Army, and I definitely went into adjutant general because I knew I didn't want to be on the front lines. Right? At least we were smart enough to think that. I ain't gonna be out shooting. No. Only at the range, man. And we sneaking up, taking that black U.S. Army pin and poking holes in the
That's
target.
right.
Oh, look, I'm an expert, nigga. You ain't even hit the backboard.
That's right. That's right.
But y'all know, man, it's all about frequency, man. It's the alignments and the frequency, and it's those numbers. And this is why I mentioned earlier, we actually have cosmic agreements with each other.
Look, dig. So chat room,
Hey,
sorry, said
we have free
will to align ourselves with that make us gods also.
You're already a god. What are you talking about?
We addressed that. Hey.
You might be a dumb guy, but you're already a god. You're already a power. Look, think of God like this, right? You are a generator, operator, and destroyer. You're a generator of ideas. You're an operator of your territory, and you're a destroyer of anything that comes up against your ideas. So you're already a god, right? It's that part, and you'll find this in spirituality, right? That you are divinity enfolded upon itself, reversed, and then enfolded upon itself, experiencing itself. Now, I know that's a lot because within that you have the tree of life, you have the Merkabah, right? And that's why I said you are divinity enfolded upon itself, right? But these are the mathematical principles. And they're also found in a lot of the Adinkra symbols that a lot of you people like, right? And we study them. Oh, I like how the Ashanti symbol looks, a Kumba, or
or the
whichever, right? You see the Ankh, right? You see the Ankh, man. Come on, dude. Like the answers is there. We just haven't been shown or shared with how to get the answers to the questions that we all are wondering, right? Like everybody wonders these things. Why is this scroll work look so interesting on these bars on this house, right? Like a lot of y'all, especially here in California, we got the iron doors on our houses, with the screens. And I tell people, if you look at that long enough, you'll see what symbols are in there, but they're there as a reminder. They're there to show you, a lot of things have the fleur-de-lis on it. Some of y'all is Saints fans, so you know what the fleur-de-lis is, right? But that's a symbol that's actually older than that.
That's
Before it was a fleur-de-lis, it was another symbol. So when we search these things out, you'll see, hey, man, the ancestors left answers for us all over the planet. We just got to tap in and get the answers.
Not to mention, that's the reason we look to the elders, man. You know what I'm saying? So that we can get answers on a decade that we hadn't experienced yet. Hey, look, man, we're about 2 hours in.
I was just about to wrap it up, man. I was about to wrap it up for sure, man.
I'm still punching that clock, man, so I gotta go throw some punches.
I hear you, baby.
Hey, man, listen, this has been a Still Building podcast. You know what I'm saying? Today, episode 1. We really appreciate all the participation, and shout out to the chat room, man. Y'all been great. Really appreciate the participation.
Shout out to
we was able to shout out to my man, Jack O. You know what I'm saying? Kid Jones, you did. And I'm your man, Marifa. Look, where can we find y'all brothers at? Where can we find y'all on your social medias? Let us know. Drop your links and stuff like that.
Hey, man, you're going to only find me on Facebook.
All right.
Jack Gordon.
That's it. What's up? That's what's up. Where you at, kid? Where you at?
Shit, I'm all over. You can find me on Facebook as Amat Anun Palawa. That is my seed name, my star name. And if you pull it up, it'll actually show you, it says the real Kit Jones on there, right? And it's me like this. Or you can hit me up. I definitely welcome all emails. You can email me at capital PHAMUS 357. That's famous 357 at Gmail. In future episodes, I'll have more information to give out. Like you can hit me on WhatsApp. I do readings. Right now, I got a special going on. It's for free $99. But I'll sit down and build with anybody that wants to be built with. And again, in the future, I'll have more for you. as we
Word
start
up.
the blog from Belize, which I'll be moving to later this year. So
Word
definitely
up.
look forward to continual building.
Yes, indeed. And you can find yourself, yours truly at Marifa Assar LLC. That's my business name. You know what I'm saying? All social media platforms. Also, check me out at marifassar.com. Go and get some of that fresh gear that we got out there for you. You know what I'm saying? To support Black business. You know what I'm saying? It's all about African spirituality, African movements. You know what I'm saying? So support that as we go ahead and support these kids. So marifassar.com, MARIFAASAR.com or Marifa Assar LLC. All right. So with that being said, we're gonna get up out of here. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to y'all. We're gonna come back with y'all maybe in another 2 weeks, maybe 2 weeks. Push another one and stuff like that, and we'll come up with a new topic. And hopefully we'll have our fourth member of the podcast on there. You know what I'm saying? Be Will, and he'll be able to come through. You know what I'm saying? And chop it up. And we're gonna have special guests as we continue on throughout the series and stuff throughout the year. We're gonna have hosts and guests on the show. We're going to have them come on in and, give perspective on different topics and stuff like that. So look forward to that. A lot more to come. But anyway, this has been another Still Building podcast right here, episode 1. It's your man, Marifa, saying love and light. Yo, peace. Let's go, fellas. Mahalo, salute. Love.